Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today after putting in about 100 hours on both console and PC together, I'm here to review and give my first impressions of Civ 7 as it stands now. Obviously this is highly subjective, and it's already changing. As I'm writing this, patches are being dropped. So this is just my honest opinion on whether or not you should pick up Civ 7, whether you should buy it. I know it's a little expensive and times are tight right now. I'm going to title this thing The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So let's start with the good. Do I think the gameplay is fun? Yeah, I really do think this game is fun. A lot of the feedback I've seen online is that this doesn't really feel like Civilization. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily true. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But when I play this, I feel a lot of reminders to Civ 4 and Civ 5, and even Civ Rev that used to come out on the consoles. And I think a lot of the systems in this game are enjoyable. I feel like the changes into the game really increase the skill ceiling, and I mean, this is a harder game to master overall in my opinion. At first, I thought I wouldn't like the Legacy Pass, but I realized that mostly I was already doing these things in Civ 6. Instead of thinking of it as being on rails, I just sort of think of it like, well, when I play Civ 6, I always try to have 10 cities by turn 100 anyway. That's a Legacy Path already. So this really doesn't change how I play very much. But I think it does give me a good clear goal that I can always remember, and I can mix and match. I'm not 100% focusing on domination, I'm also picking up wonders as well. I do hope though in the future that this gets added to, or that more things are added in, or more victory types. Something to mess with this system needs to be done overall in the future. Another thing I was at first against was civ switching and leaders not being connected to their civs. And after playing with it for a while, I don't find it to be too much of a problem, but I do 100% believe that the amount of civs that we have in Exploration Age and Modern Age are far too limited. I kind of just find myself always playing as Spain in the Exploration Age, but this is a problem that is going to be solved definitely with DLC. Having leaders unbound, which was an option, a callback to Civ 4 already again, allows me to really refine my gameplay style that I like the most. I really enjoyed going with Catherine the Great as Maya to have like this huge codex science boost as well as culture off of her. That's great. So that's fun. Also the graphics. Thought at first that I hated what the leaders looked like, but they've grown on me. I really don't like the leader screen. I miss having that dedicated leader screen overall. And at first I hated the heads at the top of the screen, but now I love those freaky faces that they make when you're allied or denounced. I love those uncanny valley smiles. It really adds some flavor. But I do miss that dedicated leader screen. The map looks great when you turn off all the yields and various things. It's really pretty to look at and honestly not to play as. We'll get to that in the bad section. I love the new army commander system and the city taking system. I think it adds a lot more depth and work to the domination gameplay beyond just clicking a billion tiles and saying, oh, can't move my unit there because there's already units there. I've got too many units. Now you just pack them into a unit and move that single unit all around like a truck. But I do think that the commander upgrades need a pass, and I kind of miss the unit diversity. I'm sick. I don't really like the idea of just upgrading my swordsman to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 swordsman. The final good that I'm going to speak about is the Antiquity Age, and I think the game really shines here. It nailed the Antiquity Age. Often I don't want to move forward to the other ages. The game feels like you're crawling from obscurity and carving out your civilization's niche, building your wonders, conquering your neighbors, gathering resources. I think the Exploration Age does a good job of capturing the feel of colonization in Asia or the race for the New World, but the Antiquity Age just feels like it's just like mwah, chef's kiss good. It's just good. And the other ages need a little bit more in them. The most impactful and flavorful to me was that Antiquity point. And since you can set your games to end now in the Antiquity Age, I think most people are just going to be playing the 100 or so turns of this and they'll be happy with it. But now I want to talk about the bad. Things that I don't like but I can live with that'll probably be fixed in the future. And the first one for me is the Modern Age. I really think the Modern Age is missing a lot of fun gameplay. As it is right now, it's just building buildings or building explorers and sending them to dig, and you got 100 turns of that, and the AI just excels way too much at it because they get so many bonuses that you don't get towards production and gold. They got the ideology flavors down, and that's really cool, and I think the wars of ideology feel nice, but I really think this age needs a lot more like interactiveness and complexity and ways to win the game. I don't understand why they didn't make winning the game more difficult. It's just more boring than the other ages. You purposefully split this age out. So why not just add a lot of complex systems in there that we have to interact with? Most players aren't even going to be playing in this age. So take a risk. Don't just do the same boring click until you end the game sort of deal. Another thing I don't like is the visual clutter. Yes, the map looks great, but it's hard to play. I'm not going to harp on the UI because everyone else is harping on the UI, and yes, the UI is bad, but just the general visual feel of this game with the yields and the hex turned on and the resources turned on so you can see everything that you need to see in order to make the complex decisions that you need to make the game work is just vomit. It's visual vomit on the screen. And especially in the overbuilding and rural district placing screen, this highly visual integrity style, making things look really realistic, hyper realistic style that they went for does not lend well to the amount of information your eyes need to swallow. And without the color coding on the buildings and anything like that, it's hard to get anything at a glance in this game. You really have to look deep to understand things. And come mid-game, I just find myself like placing things on the map just to get the hell out of the overbuilding screen and saying like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's never a good time. I don't like the meta progression track in the Memento system. This meta progression track, I guarantee, is going to be used as a battle pass system. A battle pass system is coming. A monthly pass system is going to be in here. I am sure of it. This is built in a way that's designed to lean into that. And the Memento system, oh boy, that's going to be battle pass as well. I think it takes away from the core aspect of a strategy game, like when you can unlock ways to make the game easier just by playing the game over and over again. I think the Memento system would be cool if it was worked on a bit, but at this point I kind of play without them. I also think religion really needs a work. None of the beliefs feel fun or impactful or intuitive. You're actively encouraged against spreading to your own cities because you don't really get any bonuses for that until later. You only get relics, which you need to win by spreading to other civilizations. It's kind of just confusing. The game does not give you any information about the rural-urban spread, which is really frustrating for me too, but I'll complain about that later. And finally, I don't really like how the ages separate from each other. I like that the ages are separated. I'm not complaining about that. I think that's fine. But it's kind of too jarring moving from one age to the next. I like the reset, but it's hard reset. It's a hard reset. And I want some of my efforts from the previous age to be more noticeable in the next age. The fact that everybody gets the civic bonuses and tech bonuses from the masteries kind of takes away from all the hard work I put into to get those civic and tech masteries. The fact that the buildings just reset to their base adjacencies takes away from the work I put into to get good adjacencies. Impactful things like that need to be carried over to show that I myself have built my empire up from nothing. And I hope DLC fixes this. Now let's talk about the ugly. First, the ugly is this new DLC model. I'm not going to complain about it for too long, but I'm against all games that move into a more live servicey sort of constant DLC feel. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel like I'm getting value. It feels like they're just stringing me along, drip feeding money into them. I hate the fact that I can't choose random mementos, even though I can random everything else. Come on, where's my random button for the mementos? And also, where is my Hall of Fame? Why was that even removed? I won't understand how this was launched without basic things from previous iterations that were so popular. Hall of Fame, Hot Seat, Advanced Map Generations, Quick Combat, Quick Movement. Why was that taken away from us? What does that do to sell the game better or make the game mechanics better? How does having a Hall of Fame make designing the game too difficult? That's beyond me. But the ugliest thing of all, the worst thing that this game does, is the lack of information that it gives to the player. It is so frustrating to not be able to find any information about how much each tech costs, or how much happiness I need, how much happiness it would get me to the next celebration, especially when a lot of narrative events just give you a choice between this amount of culture, this amount of science, or this amount of happiness. Well, how close am I to getting that next tech? How close am I to getting that next? Is 45 culture more than 200 happiness, depending on when my celebration comes or when my civic finishes? I need help with that choice. I need information. This is the most insulting thing. The game hides so much from you, just doesn't give you anything that you can use to be strategic. How do I fully convert cities as religion? Oh, I had to guess that I needed both rural and urban tiles. If you look at the Civilopedia, it gives you a 1 or 2 sentence blurb. How do I make roads and connections? How is trade range figured out? So much is just not given to you, and as a Civ fan, I hate it. This obtuseness to this game is reason enough not to buy it, and it's insultingly, overwhelmingly disheartening. But my final verdict is this. This game is not as good as Civ 6. It's just not. Right now, I have more fun with Civ 6. But I do believe that this game could be greater than Civ 5 and Civ 4, and maybe greater than Civ 6. A lot of people are seeing this as an outlier on the Civ series because it's so different from the last one. But really, this is just the same as 4, 5, Revolution Beyond Earth, and Colonization. I think it's a testament to how good Civ 6 was that Civ 6 is the outlier. And if Civ 6 was your only experience in the Civ franchise, you are going to be massively disappointed with this game. This game isn't bad because it's not like 6. 6 was great because it was better than the others. But to be perfectly honest, I hated Civ 6 on day 1. I didn't touch it. I played Civ 5 and Civ 4 until Gathering Storm. And then with the New Frontier Pass, finally I fell in love with Civ 6. I hope this game can replicate that experience. It has all the potential to do just that. If they just added some helpful tooltips, come on, give me a tooltip, guys. If you're a diehard fan, buy it. If you liked 6 but you didn't play the others, just get this on sale. We know how Civ goes. In the 3 years that this game is built up in, it'll be the best Civ version yet. But now, it's just not holding up as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and let me know what you think of this game in the comments down below. Goodbye.